Well, welcome again to the 2022 Plymouth School District Annual Meeting. My name is Quentin Blaine. I'm the moderator, your moderator for the meeting. And let's start the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, please. There's a flag to the side of the end of the table. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I wasn't able to find, or I haven't yet found the pages where the rules that I use for running the meeting are in the town report, or I would give you the pages, but they are in the town report, or they should be in the town report. They're the same as I've used year after year. I do ask that anybody who would like to speak to the meeting, who has permission to speak to the meeting, come up and use the microphone, and each time you do that, please give your name, so that there's no guessing if your back is to somebody. Okay, we'll start with Article 1, reports of agents, auditors, committees, or officers, to see what action the school district will take relative to the reports of agents. I'm getting feedback.
I actually know what I'm doing.
Well, good, at least one of us does. I'll take my mask off too, my voice may travel a little bit better that way. So, Article 1, to see what action the school district will take relative to the reports of agents, auditors, committees, and officers. I'd encourage a motion to approve the reports, such reports. Is there a motion?
I make the motion as stated.
Okay, to approve the reports?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Article 1 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion in regard to Article 1?
Zach Terrell. Quentin, does this include the MS-26 section, or is that, any questions about that should be directed to a different section?
I am not sure what all the reports are. Is there anybody at the front table that knows whether the MS...
So the MS-26 would be included as part of the report. So if I have a question about that, now would be the time? Perfect. Then I think this question is to you, Kyla, since Dan is not here. On the budget summary, if we look at the estimated revenues and credits and the amount of state education tax and grants, that number, when I compare it against the handout that was given, the back page of this handout that's here, current budget. There's a line item in here that's total school revenue and credits. Should those numbers be equal? Or is there something that would make them different?
Can you just reference the page you're at in the town reports? I'm sorry.
I can, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
It's page S23.
And now that we're all on the same page, could you repeat what your question is, please?
I definitely can, yes. So on page S23, there's two line items. One that says less amount of estimated revenues and credits, and another line that says less amount of state education tax grant. Now, I could be making an assumption, and this is what I'm asking for clarification on. I assume those two numbers would equal the total school revenue and credits number from the handout that we were given, the back page of the overall budget handout.
What's that? I'm not sure of the question.
I mean, the two numbers are off by $189,884. I mean, they're not equal. My question is there something I'm missing? Is that a fundamentally incorrect assumption?
I do have to check on that real quick. I can check with that with Dan. I don't have that off the top of my head, but I can just get it real quick. if you'd like.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
I'm not sure I'll get the answer this second. So.
Sorry to slow everything down for everyone.
I don't know if you can move on while I'm waiting for an answer, or
Well, I don't know, I'm
yeah.
wondering that same thing.
Yeah.
Do you have another question, Zach, that you have right now?
I have another question about the budget summary, if I may.
Certainly.
Should I reintroduce myself?
Pardon?
Should I reintroduce myself?
No,
or am
no,
Okay.
I think you're.
All right, we're
all
good.
set.
Everybody knows I'm the annoying one. Okay, the second question I have, and actually this one's not a question, I'm sorry. This is an observation for the audience. When we look at the budget, and this is a procedural thing that's been done the past few years that I don't love in the way that it's presented. So I just want to make this clarification for everyone else to be able to read the numbers the same way I see them. When you look at the proposed operating budget for this year, that operating budget is proposed at $9,457,135. If we look at the operating budget we voted in last year, which is also
Zach,
in this.
This sounds more like questions that you would want to raise.
This is a question about the accuracy of the numbers.
Okay, of the report.
Of the report, yes.
Okay.
I'm only comparing that number so we can see it in the report. If we look at the operating budget from the minutes of last year's meeting, article number 6 on page S10, if folks turn to that page, you'll see the operating budget we voted in last year was $9,302,795. Now, at town meeting, we also voted in fund balance to the capital reserve of $50,000. We also that was Article 5. We also voted in $1,000 for contingency fund, Article 3. And we voted to support the collective bargaining agreement, $44,050. Which, if you add all of that up, the original operating budget number, the contingency fund number, the capital reserve number, and the bargaining unit, you get $9,397,845. And you'll see that number. It's a very familiar number. It shows up in the district appropriation on the handout, right? Same budget handout that we all saw, okay? Which is great. It's nice when numbers add up. So, this handout as presented says that it proposes that the district appropriation, the operating budget, will be $9,457,135. And so on this year's warrant, we see that number very accurately. Again, if we look at our warrant, it shows up. It's Article 5. It's $9,457,135. But if we follow the numbers I just talked about, we realize that when we vote in to establish the contingency fund, to approve the teachers' collective bargaining agreement, and for the fund balance of the capital reserve fund, our actual budget we're likely to vote in is this number on MS 26, page S23, which will be $9,677,914. Okay? So we get a handout that presents to us a 0% increase balanced budget, which is fantastic. I applaud the board for the hard work it took them to get there. But it's not likely the budget we're going to vote in tonight. The budget we're going to vote in tonight, if all articles pass, is $9.6 million, not $9.4 million. So it's just a clarifier for everyone when they look at this that we're not comparing apples to apples. We're comparing last year's appropriation, which included the warrant articles, to this year's appropriation, which does not yet include them, which amounts to a 50-cent increase in our taxes, which is, again, fine. But knowing that and understanding how those numbers work together to produce the final budget, I think is an important observation for us to know how to read this.
And go back to your other question now, sorry.
Yes, please.
So on the MS 26, it includes the warrant articles, and in the budget, that's just the appropriations as well. So in the MS 26, it includes the warrant articles and does not include the adequacy.
For the total appropriations, yes.
Total appropriations.
But
Or the fund balance, so that it kind of wraps into what you were just talking about.
so shouldn't the credits still equal?
The individual warrant articles are not in the appropriations, which is the white packet, including the revenue side. The individual warrant articles are in the MS 26.
But there aren't any credits in the warrant. So I'm not sure how to explain that $189,000.
All right.
Which again, if that's true, it's fine, but we're voting on a $6.2 million to be raised from taxes,
Yep.
not 5.8.
So Tyler, the difference between those two numbers is
180.
it's 189,884, which is exactly 40,000 off from the unreserved fund balance. Oh, sorry, 50,000 off. So I think it's 50,000 off from the unreserved fund balance at the top of the column.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that's because we took 50,000 out of the capital reserve.
Because the unreserved fund balance is included
I
in the
just wanna-
estimated revenues.
I just want to make sure I answer the question correctly, so I'm just
Right.
going to just double check on that. All right, I will get that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry to slow it down.
Is there further discussion or additional questions in regard to the reports? Seeing none, we'll bring Article 1, which is a motion to approve the reports, up to vote. All those in favor of Article 1, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? Article 1 passes. Which brings us to Article 2. To see if the school district will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the school board and the Plymouth Educational Association, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staffing level. Fiscal year 2022 to 2023, estimated increase on $169,779. Fiscal year 2023 to 2024, estimated increase $160,247. Fiscal year 2024-2025, estimated increase $145,833. Fiscal year 2025 to 2026, estimated increase $152,530. And further, to raise and appropriate $169,779 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional cost attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that attributable to would be paid at current staffing levels. It says recommendations required. I don't know what that means, but I'll read it. It's in there. Is there a motion to put Article 2 for Article 2?
I recommend to move Article 2 as written.
Pardon?
Recommend to move Article 2 as written.
Okay, Article 2 is moved. Is there a second? Second. Article 2 is moved and seconded. Are there any questions or is there any discussion in regard to Article 2? Seeing none, we'll bring Article 2 to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Article 2 passes. Article 3, to see if the school district will vote to establish a contingency fund for the current year for unanticipated expenses that may arise, and further to raise and appropriate $1,000 to put in the fund. This sum to come from general taxation. Any appropriation left in the fund at the end of the year will lapse to the general fund. Is there a motion?
I move Article 3 as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Article 3 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or are there any questions in regard to Article 3? Seeing no discussion or questions, we'll bring Article 3 to a vote. All those in favor of Article 3, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Article 3 passes. Article 4, to see if the school district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be added to the Building Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund previously established. This sum to come from June 30 fund balance available for transfer on July 1. No amount to be raised from taxation. The school board recommends this article. Is there a motion?
I move the motion as written.
Is there a second? Article 4 has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion in regard to Article 4? Seeing none, it's time for a vote. All those in favor of Article 4, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, signify by saying nay. Article 4 passes. Which brings us to Article 5, the operating budget. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the amount of $9,457,135 for the support of schools, for the payment of salaries for school district officials and agents, and for the payment for the statutory obligations of the district. This article does not include appropriations contained in special or individual articles addressed separately. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to move as written.
Second. Article 5 has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion in regard to Article 5? Seeing none. Did you have any questions? I know I moved you on a little bit from the Operating Budgets Act. Did you have any questions? I'm not trying to create questions. I'm just trying to give you a chance if I moved you on before.
I mean, I didn't necessarily get a full response to the gap in that $189,000, but I'm also not sure that
I'm getting that right now, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to get it, so I I don't know what to say.
Okay. Are your questions sufficiently answered for tonight?
They're not.
Well, then we will, you are working on the answer still?
Yeah, I'm getting it right now. If it's somebody else at another meeting, so we're just trying to do it in between. I apologize, but I will get it.
It's been moved and seconded.
operating budget,
Pardon?
I believe the operating budget has been moved and seconded.
It has.
Yes.
And I just was wondering if there were any questions or discussion about it. And seeing none, we'll bring Article 5 to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay?
Nay.
Okay, Article 5 passes. Well, there is no further business to come before this meeting, so we are adjourned.